on the Wealthy CEO podcast for the first time ever. And I got to welcome the amazing Jena Tomer onto the live podcast of the Wealthy CEO. Thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, this is such an honor. And this is my first live podcast too. So I'm really excited. It's a brilliant idea, Shae.
Well, it's a good thing that we both kind of don't know what we're doing right now. We're just putting that out there, everybody.
Sure.
It's a first time, and we're just going to roll with it. And sorry in advance if I do something or if you're commenting and I can't see you. Like right now, I had this whole plan to have Facebook live on my other computer, and of course that's not working. So I can't see. Let me actually, I'm just going to take 1 second to see here. No, I don't think I can see the public chat. Oh, maybe I can. If you are already tuning in, I would love for your help that if you are live with us, and I know it takes a second for the algorithm to tell everybody that we are live, but if you land here, just drop something into the chat and I'm going to see if it's working. In the meantime, oh, it is working. Thank you, Michelle. I love you. Thanks for that. So really, really great to have people tuning in live. Today, I have Jena Tomer, who is a nurse who was a nurse for 15 years with clinical experience, and she was finishing her doctorate when she made a decision most people would actually think is a little crazy because you walked away without finishing it to build something that had an even bigger reach. And I'm so excited to dive into your story. Today, you are one of the top leaders at Frequence, which I have such a cool story background to share with you and everybody, which we're going to get into that. But you are one of the top leaders in this company, and you have done over 52 million in sales in just 4 years, which is crazy. And you've helped thousands of people build their businesses and building success, but you've also helped over 100,000 people on their healing and wellness journey. And you're doing it with your husband as well, which is pretty freaking amazing. So to say the least, you are a powerhouse. You are such a beautiful soul as well. I've gotten to get to know you a little bit over the last few weeks, and I'm really excited to not just welcome you to the podcast, but also we're going to build something pretty amazing together. And I'm honored to be able to step into this with you. So thank you for being here.
You are just the most humble, loving person, I tell you. I have been like jumping up and down that I'm going to get to link arms and work with you. So just really all glory to God, you guys. My story is different. I was 4 classes away from finishing my doctorate, opening my own practice here in Maryland. And I pivoted when I got really sick into saying, you know what, I am going to just open up something globally from the comfort of my own home. And so I went into product formulation in a company and really started to grow that company in 26 different countries. And I realized the impact that you can make on people's health is monumental with really just being in the online space. You can make such an impact. And so when Shae said that number, 100,000 people, that still doesn't even feel real. That like that has been the ripple effect of just sharing my story and my husband's story, because so many people are suffering with brain fog or fatigue or autoimmune issues or mystery issues where they go get their labs drawn and the doctor goes, I don't know, everything looks perfect, right? Or hormone imbalance or thyroid imbalance. So many people are suffering, and they don't need complicated protocols. They don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in treatment. They need something simple that works. And so that's where I really set out to find and discover. And there'd be no way here in my little small town in Southern Maryland, if I did open that practice, that 100,000 lives would be impacted. That just wouldn't have happened. So God definitely has used this for good, and all of the clinical experience and the college experience has come in handy for sure. I just was like, you know what? I'm just not going to use my degree. I'm going to pivot and go into holistic and functional medicine. And that's what I did.
I love it. So I want to ask you, I love how I said I was going to turn off, my alarm just went off on my phone to go pick up my raw milk. And I said I was turning it off, but I turned off a different one. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
So Jena, like, it's so fascinating because you are absolutely right. Like, being in the online space, you can impact millions as opposed to the micro space, right? Like with your immediate sphere of influence where you're physically playing. But most people, when they think about online, wouldn't have thought about pivoting into network marketing. And I know that you have more of, I'm going to call like a lineage in this industry than I do as like a newbie and here to learn from you as well. Why network marketing? And today, I'd love for you to just off the hop, elephant out of the room, break down some of the stigma around network marketing and some of the women in my life who have been OGs in this industry. It's changed, it's shifted, things are closing down, comp plans exploding, and hearts being broken. So like there's so much stuff around that. So I would love for you to like elephant in the room. Let's tackle that. Why did you choose that industry? And how is Frequent different than what you see happening in this industry right now?
Absolutely brilliant question. And I love it. Like, let's talk about that because there's a certain stigma that needs to be discussed. Because the reason that companies, and I'll just call some of them out, like Young Living and doTERRA and Plexus, for example, like those are three incredible companies where their standards are still so high with health and wellness. And they've been around for 30, 40, 25 years.
Yeah.
And the reason that they are a network marketing company is because their product is so good, it's not going to go into shelves somewhere else. So I had an incredible, incredible mentor who had done billions in sales tell me that years ago. And it's so true. She's like, think about it. These products are not products that are going to be in your name stores. Like they're not going to be there because they hold themselves to a higher standard. And that's something I really want you guys to understand. And then second, I fell in love with this very organically. I wanted to remove toxins from my home. And my very first experience was in 2013. Like I didn't go full in, like walk away from my nursing career until 2019. Like that's when I really walked away. But in 2013 was my first exposure. And someone put some essential oils on my back. And my discomfort went away. And then she told me how I could get rid of these toxins and this toxin. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And so I think it's important to also call out that as like a lot of people fall in love with this because they fall in love with the product first. And especially at Frequence, I looked at a total of 90 companies, Frequence being one of those. So I said no to 89 companies because they didn't have the whole checklist, which if you want me to go into that, Shae, in a minute, I can. I was looking for something very specific because this industry does not require you to have inventory in your home. It doesn't require for you to be paying all of these bills and having all of this overhead. It's absolutely incredible that you are able to make the income you are with having that no overhead and sharing something that you truly believe in. And I'm able to help women every day who have no experience whatsoever. They do not have a social media following. And I'm able to implement the systems that I've developed here in the last 2 years. And they're able to make these nice, beautiful 4-figure paychecks with their babies in their lap and their comfy pants. And like, to me, it is just so important to believe in the product. It is so important to believe in the mission, the culture of the company, and to align. But it's also just so beautiful to know that people are living paycheck to paycheck and they're living literally in chains because they can't afford to really live any extra. And this has been such a blessing to them. And no other business in the world or job can you say, hey, you don't really have to have an inventory. You don't have to have all this overhead monthly, but you're able to share something that you are passionate about and you're able to get paid not just once, but over and over and over again, residual income on something every time someone buys that product. Again, you're getting paid again and again and again. And that only is happening in network marketing. That does not happen anywhere else.
So I love that because, and you are right. Like, anytime somebody comes back to get a repeat of their order, if they don't come back to you, you don't make that sale. We're here. That's built into the model that, whatever they're reordering, you're going to get paid on. And I can attest, I have a few women that I've actually reached out to recently to say, I know they're on a wealth journey. Sorry, I say my wealth and I'm trying to say wellness. They're on a health journey. And I'm so used to just saying wealth. We bring, as you know, on this podcast, we talk about business and wealth and we bring it together with health and with wellness. So, but I reached out to a couple girls women in my life that I know are on this wellness journey. And I will share with you that their response was like, I need to know how much like the cost is going to be because I don't know if I could afford this on a monthly basis.
Mm.
And I was like, what if you changed your mindset to say that these products would actually be the catalyst that would give you the ability to bring in that additional revenue stream so that you wouldn't even have to think about if you have the affordability to buy every single month, to restock your cabinet or like replenish what you've run out of. And so I love that you said that because I think there's so many women, that are either working from home, they're home with their children or they're in a single household, they're single moms and they want to be able to provide. And this, like you just said, it alleviates all of the overhead. You're not needing to pay for a website hosting domain. You're not needing to pay for like marketing outside of your phone. Like if you have a phone and you have chat or you have Claude, you basically have like a full force team
Yeah.
for practically free. You can get Claude as cheap as $20. You can get the free plan, but if you're doing business, put it, it's worth it. Like paying for the perks of the pro is absolutely worth it. But you're right. And so that was one of the things actually that drew me to the company was wanting to see women be really empowered through their finances and not just in their health, right? If you don't have your health, you will never be wealthy. I always say that, so we absolutely want to take care of our vessels and our temples that we've been given. And we deserve to, it's our birthright to be living abundantly. And so here with this company, you're able to do both. And I would love, because it is important, I will like, I think I've shared with you before, like I have my rose oil here from doTERRA. I'm like an oil queen still. Um,
Company knows.
yeah,
It's been on for 25 years, or plus. It's a great
yeah.
company.
And when I shared this company, people who've been around long enough in my world know like, I'm the oil queen. I have an oil for everything. I never fully stepped into the business, and the reason why is that the comp plan at the time I joined was almost impossible to become like really successful. You would be pouring so much of your life into this with very little return. And through real estate and other things that I do, I'm like, it wasn't worth it. But as a passion, like I'll share with you. Whereas like when I looked at frequency and it came on my radar in a really unique way, which I would love to share with you guys, this was a differential. It was like the comp plan is set up in such a way for women to be able to thrive, regardless if they got in 2 years ago or they're coming in right now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know? So Jena, okay, tell me, because this is important to me, and this is actually why I brought up doTERRA, and not to bash companies, and this isn't about doTERRA, so we're not even gonna go into it. But when I was choosing the oils that I would use, looking at the transparency, the quality, the heartbeat behind the company, and the mission was very important to me. And I looked at frequency not knowing 8 months ago. I'll just tell actually my story right now because I keep kind of like going back and forth now. I'm just gonna tell you. And I think I actually told you this, but for everyone listening and watching, 8 months ago, I reached out to a woman who I actually had on my podcast. I don't know her personally. She lives in Colorado and she's in the hard money lending business. And so I had her on my podcast because we're talking about women and real estate and business and finances and all that good stuff. And I saw that she had lost weight. She had stabilized her cortisol levels. She was like, her skin was glowing. She looked happy. I was like, what are you taking? What are these products? And can I get them? She was like, no, we're not opening up in Canada. We're not open there yet. And we're not shipping to Canada. I was so bummed out. I'm like, everything good doesn't come here, you know? And then fast forward to literally 3 weeks ago, which would timestamp us at the beginning of May, depending on when you're watching this episode, that I got a phone call and an opportunity to link arms with this company called Frequence that is opening in Canada. And so here we are. And before I share further as to my why, your why, I'm going to say is much bigger and more important because you've been in the industry for so long. And one of the most fascinating things for me was learning that you literally had looked at 89, I didn't even know 89 other companies exist, number one. And you spent so much time doing due diligence to make sure that it checked off everything you were looking for. Plus, you had this enormous tribe of people
Mhm.
coming with you where there was that responsibility behind you. So I would love for you to share some of your checklists or all of it. I'll let you dive into that as to why Frequency compared to other companies.
Yeah. So in my last build, I had a team of 83,000 people, but after COVID, a lot of these companies went through a really hard time. So you have seen it. I will not name the companies, but it is a long list of companies that have closed their doors or gone purely affiliate model because during
Mhm.
COVID, sales surged. After COVID, they went down. So a lot of companies couldn't afford to pay anymore. And this is really important, guys. Like, especially if you have industry experience, to understand that I wasn't going to make that mistake again. I wasn't going to partner with a company that didn't have a really, really solid infrastructure, but I also did not want a company that everyone has heard of. I do not want to say the name of a company in a room and everyone go, I've heard of that, or at least 80% of the room, because it's not about me winning. It's about everybody being able to win. And so I wanted something that was not a Me Too product. I wanted something that was not a protein powder or a greens or something that's already been made that you can buy anywhere from any company. I wanted the company to be so different. So I really felt like I was looking for a unicorn. I wanted no debt. I wanted to own our own manufacturing. I wanted an open door policy where people could watch the product be made and manufactured. I wanted to know that we had room for global expansion and warehouses in other countries. I wanted a comp plan that paid in a way and had a comp plan that could last a legacy, because binaries typically don't last past 18 months, typically. And they collapse. They collapse. And I was like, look, everyone loves a good one until 18 months go by. And they're like, man, there it goes. There's the company, right? And so I started out, obviously, in the medical side, you guys. I started out in all health and wellness. And through my career over the last 9 years, I have studied the business side of this in depth. And I knew what I was looking for. I wanted a comp plan that paid on the dollar. I wanted it to be solid, that could withstand like
Mhm.
years and years and years of a build. I wanted a product that nobody else had. I wanted full open transparency on that product. And I needed to align with the culture and the mission of the company and the owners. And as I was praying over this, God kept on giving me scripture on the word root. It would have root, root. And what that meant was that, like, in my spirit, was that whoever owned this company, I had to align with them. Because here's the thing, you can think, I'm going to build something and it's going to be mine. It's going to be my team. And that's beautiful. Do it. Create your own culture within your team. But here's the truth. At every event and every convention, when they're in the company culture, that is going to trickle down. And you want to make sure that you are fully aligned with that culture, or that's going to cause tension. And I don't want you to think of building something for a year or 2 years. I want you to think of this paying you residually for years and years and years and years. And you need to feel happy. You need to feel at peace. Gosh, is it so beautiful to be able to build something here and do millions in business and have peace every day. That's a God thing, you guys. It's all a glory to him, like that he brought me here, because it took 6 months of looking at these companies. And yeah, there's a lot of companies. You would not believe how many companies are out there that you've never heard of. You've never heard of them. And I was also looking, Shae, not only for a product that nobody else had, but one that worked for me and my husband, because we had spent over $215,000 on his Lyme mold illness. We had co-infections, and we had hired the best doctors in the nation for Lyme, for mold, functional doctors. We were getting IV infusions every single week. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease of the thyroid, interstitial cystitis, POTS. And so I was sick, you guys. And I couldn't enjoy my family. I couldn't enjoy my kids. And it's just such a blessing that even if I have like a flare, even if I have something going on in my life, I am nowhere near where I was before, because these products help me feel so good. And so I started as a customer here. I started as a customer. I didn't sign as an affiliate. I signed as a customer. And I thought, I'm not Frequence. What a weird name. I'm not going to do that as a business. I'm not going to do that as a business. I'm just going to try the product. You guys, my husband drank the product. He's an engineer. He's an introvert. He's analytical. He's skeptical, and he's going to go negative. I'm glass half full. He's like, it's empty. and he drank our Rise, our flagship product. And he looked at me after 15 minutes and said, Do you feel that? And he's looking around the room. And it's because a light switch went on in his brain. And our brain fog was debilitating that we had for 4.5 years before this product came our way. So we started as a customer. And then I was like, the branding is gorgeous, Shae. Like, that's the thing is like, you want to be proud to hold up the product and be like, wow, it's gorgeous. You want to be proud to send out your link and the website is beautiful. You want to be proud to onboard a new affiliate and they go into their back office. They're like, wow, I've never had a back office. It's so easy to use and I can see all my reports and everything. And this is awesome. I've been with companies that are 25 years old and I've never seen a back office that has this much information and it's so user friendly. And it's just incredible. And so it's operating, they own their own shipping, logistics, manufacturing, everything. It's 80% owned by Dave and Barb Pitcock, who I'm sure Shae will talk to you about meeting Barb and how that went here in a minute. 80%, 20% owned by billionaire Terry LaCour. And that's really important to have a billionaire who's funding and right there with your company. And so completely debt free, have 28 global warehouses. We're open in 17. So we have ability to expand in more countries and a product that no one else has. And for me, this was the only product that worked for my husband and I, number one. Number two, we love the owner and the CEO. We felt so at home when we talked to Dave and Barb on the phone and interviewed them. And number three, the comp plan pays on the dollar. And I'll let Shae talk a little bit because I've been running here for a minute, but having a comp plan that pays on the dollar is wild because normally you're paid on the point. So a product might be $138, but you're only getting paid through the comp plan 108 points. That's really common. So when we say you're paid 30% on the dollar for your reorders here, when we're telling you that 30%, most companies are paying you 6 to 15% tops on the point.
Right.
So you're getting paid astronomically more here. Astronomically.
And it's in USD, which if you're in Canada is like 25% more.
Or Australia.
Or Australia, the same thing, right? So that's also, it's funny, in full transparency, because this is not my world, right? Every time I've said you're getting paid on the dollar, I was just thinking it was USD until you just explained that.
Oh, no. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger. Let me just be nice when I say this. At another company, $100,000 in sales, $100,000 in sales was only 59,000 points. So that means that comp plan, 59,000 points was actually $100,000 if you do the math on the PV dollar ratio. So what that means, Shae, is I would have been paid 6,000 on that comp plan where I'm paid 12,000 here.
Wow. It's crazy. It's crazy. And in USD. So I'm going to add that. But now I'm really understanding the power.
Yeah. And I will help with strategy because that's really important. I can't make income claims for like exactly where you're at, but Shae and I would be happy to be on a strategy call with anybody to show you how do you build that to maximize the comp plan, of course.
100%. Yeah. A couple of things that were really powerful for me that just came up that you said that I want to go back to before we move on is finding a company where you can be successful, thrive, and grow, and where peace is still at the core. And I didn't do it in your intro, and I should have actually. You also have 3 children and you have 3 dogs, which we can hear a couple of them. I don't know if you guys can hear it. That is like having 6 children.
Yeah. I told all 6 children, well, there's only 4 here right now, but I said, be quiet while I'm on here. And clearly that's not happening.
No, and that is A-okay. This is a space where we just flow with whatever happens. And especially now with me being a new mom, I'm like, it is what it is. And we just show up perfectly, imperfectly the way that we need to. So it's all good. But, for so many people tuning in that are like, I'm too busy or I don't have the help. I have the kids. I have this. I think you are proof of what is actually possible to be able to build a multi 7-figure business. And I said this yesterday on my stories because I feel like that's such an icky term right now. I feel like everywhere you look on Instagram, it's like 7-figure earners, 7-figure earners, that 8-figure. It's like the people are using this in such a, for me, like an icky way. And so I look at it here where it's not about what you have built. You have built what you have because you've actually helped to build the success of so many people underneath you.
Mhm.
And if they didn't have that success, you wouldn't be where you are because you rely on their volume from the bottom up from your team. And so I think that is really incredible to note, but also like you basically have 6 kids. So if Jena can do it, it is totally possible with whatever time, whatever space, whatever ability you have or you think you don't have. So just sit with that. Like she's proof. She's proof of what's possible.
I would actually like to tell a little blurb about that I've never said publicly before. And I was like, I need to make content and share this with the world because it's so important. So my husband,
Mm.
yes, he's helped me so much with this business and we technically own it together, but he's a flight test engineer. And so he works for the DOD. And so he has been home with me our entire marriage. So that means that when I was making a little, he was with me. But then when, I started making millions, he was with me too. So that means that I had someone here with me to help
Right.
for years. And then in the beginning of 2025, this is really important, guys, because God will always use things for good, right? For good. So in the beginning of 2025, what happened? Trump said all government workers who telework have to go back to work.
Mm.
Okay, this is in the US, but this matters because what happened with me is for the first time in my network marketing career, I was alone with all six of them.
Yeah.
And I was about to lose it.
Mm.
And here's what happened. In that time is when I developed systems, and those systems work for me now alone with
Amen.
all of them. So if I can do this with I'm signed direct to corporate, if I can carry the weight that I'm carrying, and I had to make systems that worked for me alone with 3 kids, 3 dogs, 3 kids in different schools, and I homeschool my youngest. So I had to make a system that worked for everyone. So one of my dear friends partnered with me after I developed those systems. She's pregnant with her 9th baby.
Oh my God.
Actual I have 3 dogs that Shae is so lovingly counting as kids, and they are causing the most chaos right now. But she has 9 humans.
Wow.
And she homeschools all of them, and she's killing it here with our systems.
Yeah.
Killing it. So it
That's
has
wild.
to be like, I'm just going to call this out, and I hope no one hates me for this, but like nobody wants to be on Zoom every night anymore. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Nobody wants to be on Zoom multiple times a day. People are burnt out from that. And so what I am so proud to say is that we still have network marketing where we have the dream where you can make so much income with being in your comfy pants with your kids in your lap. But we also have systems now that work for 2026 because nobody wants to be in living rooms doing parties or doing Zoom calls all the time. So we had to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to, and we did. And that's why we're having so many people win here.
I love that. And so Jena, even if somebody is like not in network marketing because you're in business, like as an entrepreneur, you're a female business owner in the network marketing business. What do you think it really takes right now outside of systems? Because that's obviously everything. And I mean, we're seeing the explosion of AI happening.
Yeah.
Where do you think people are getting it wrong when they're trying to build an online business?
Yeah, I think people are trying to lead in a way that isn't going to catch on with their audience. The way that you used to be able to post to pique curiosity is not the same as it is now. And so I feel like people, even when people have like the consistency and they have the grit and they have the mindset, I feel like they're running into just these walls because they are not taught or mentored to post in a way that actually captures their audience in 2026. That is what I had to pivot I had to rebrand myself, you guys, completely. So I had to learn this. And one thing too is because I looked at companies for 6 months as that company that I was with stopped manufacturing their top products, my team of 83,000 people hemorrhaged and all my leaders went to other companies by the time I came here. So I actually brought nobody with me besides one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to rebuild from the bottom. I had one incredible 6-figure leader. Her name's Neela Schaefer come with me, and she is here now. But out of 33, only one came.
Wow.
and built here. A lot of them are customers. They buy the products every month, but
Yeah.
and that is something that I'm telling you because I wasn't going to just jump into a company. So because I took 6 months, people were like, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna have to join. Jenna's not making up her mind. I'm like, I can't just jump into a company. It has to be something that I can build a legacy with. I'm not just gonna jump into anything. And so that's actually to whoever listened to this, that's to your benefit because I had to build from the bottom. I didn't build from those people. All of those leaders took their people to all these other companies, and unfortunately, all of them have crashed. All of them. Not one of them has been successful. So that's where you really should do your research and pray on it and take your time because your time is so precious. When you actually put your time and energy into a build, it is so precious. All of our time is important. So that's what I love, like knowing that this is checking all the boxes and it makes the most sense to build at Frequence, in my opinion, in 2026.
And just to further that, I very much agree with you that Frequence, not only are they disrupting the market with basically creating a whole new product category, and you had mentioned that, like wanting to find something that like isn't another green drink or just another protein or just, another supplement line, that this is really a unicorn product. But if you are looking to either pivot and create a new business or you're looking to add an additional revenue stream, which like 7 is my number, like you should always have 7 different income streams coming in through your portfolio, building your assets, whether that's in real estate, having some money in the stock market, you want to have rental property income, you want to have businesses as well. Those are also assets when they're up and functioning. When you look at the trend of what is going to be a $1 trillion industry, multi-trillion dollar industries by 2030, right? We're in 2026 right now. So just in a few years, anything around money, wellness, your health, relationships, those are like 3 things. And then the online, like the coaching space in general, is trajected to hit over multi-trillion dollar industry. And so when you think about whatever your vocation is right now, if you're in a 9 to 5, if you're in an industry, even for me, like as a realtor, the real estate industry is going to completely change, especially with AI.
Yep.
And if that's your only income, if you're relying on one income right now, that's so stressful in my opinion, because we're seeing what's happening, right? Like a new drop of AI. First, we had AI coming and exploded the market. And this is what you hear every day. Everyone's going to lose their jobs. AI is going to replace everybody. AI is going to replace the people that don't know how to utilize AI very well, right? And so that's like first step is you should be spending so much time, at least minimum 20 to 30% of your time in the week, to like learning new AI, learning the tools, learning integration, understanding what skills are, understanding what, Claude Code is. Like you don't need to be a coder, you don't need to be an engineer, you don't need to know all of that. But if you know how to prompt it, you can literally create the most powerful tech web things through what's called vibe coding. Okay. A new word, new language. I didn't know what that was 3 weeks ago. I now know what vibe coding is. Okay. So it's things like this where already if I talk about vibe coding and you don't know what it is, I'm already ahead of you as to why they will choose me over you. Right. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. And so it is so important to be integrating, but then also looking at what are the trends that are going to continue to grow as the evolution of the workforce changes, and is practically guaranteed. Obviously, like I shouldn't say guaranteed, but again, when you go back to anything around money matters, relationship building, and wellness, those are 3 areas. And so how cool is it that Frequence is in that category around health and wellness, is online, and you can layer in AI to actually grow your business through these systems that Jenna is talking about. And here's the cool thing. There's no gatekeeping. Like I am only a few weeks into Frequence, and I said yes, and I jumped in. And, Jenna is so responsive, and our leadership team is so responsive to being like, okay, this is what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And after you do that, then you're going to go over to this. One of my other leaders this morning just dropped in a full hour strategy around Instagram and socials, which I cannot wait to watch.
Yep.
Like, if you are coachable and you're willing to learn, you just have to do the work. You just have to be willing. That's it. Just be willing. And one of my favorite Bible verse, well, it's not a Bible verse, but it's like taken from it, is that God doesn't call the qualify, he qualifies the called, And so it's like, as long as you're willing, that's what it means. If you say, yes, I'm willing to step in, you will have the help, you will have the support. And this is a business that is going to continue to thrive and grow in the disruption of the workforce that's happening right now. And one thing you said earlier, Jena, that I wanted to bring up that I also think is really important is that no billionaire invests in a company for the sake of making their friend happy.
No.
Like, no billionaire. Like, pat on the back, resources, I'll give you like maybe an introduction, here you go to what you need to like support you on this endeavor. But if they don't believe in the vision and they don't see the value and the performa actually panning out, which means the future projections of the company of what it has the ability to grow and scale to, they are not giving you their time and certainly not their money, although their time is more important than the money because they will always be able to make more money. So time is the biggest one there, but they're not just going to give you their money for fun. And so that is a real driver that I wanted to bring back here, because this is a unicorn. So there could be sometimes risk with that because it's not a proven concept in terms of like a protein powder, another supplement, right? You're taking nutrition and you're infusing it with frequency and you've developed a brand new product category. But there's the belief there, and they know that this company has the ability to give them a great return on their investment. And you also have that type of leadership, because as the company grows and scales, let me tell you, that billionaire is going to be at the board table, is going to be on the Zoom calls to say, no, we're not doing it like this. Have you considered that? We're going to pivot like this. We're going to change this. So you also have that backing in this company outside of it just being debt-free, which is a really massive deal. It's very big. But I wanted to just highlight the importance of that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Terry LaCour not only believes in the product, he fully believes in Dave and Barb. He had worked with them for a while, so he knew their power and what they could do. And so he actually used frequency, that's Terry's story for another day, to really heal one of his children. So that's how he fell in love with it. And so one thing to know about our products is 95% of people notice more energy, more mental clarity, and a better mood within 72 hours. So these are results-driven products. So when you run out, you freak out of this product. It's filling in vitamin, mineral, and nutrient gaps at a cellular level. And we have a patent on our reverse. It's called reverse because it literally reverses your biological age by extending the telomere at the end of the chromosome. So it's flooding your body with NAD, it's repairing the mitochondria and the DNA and extending the telomere. So you're reverse aging. And so these products are results-driven, one-of-a-kind product, whole new, brand new category in health. And so you're coming in at a sweet spot too, because we're in pre-launch in all of 2024. Then in 2025, we cut our ribbon. So you're coming in at a really sweet spot where if you're looking at a business S-curve, we were in that pioneer phase and now we're just starting to hit like massive momentum. So it's definitely a perfect time to look at the company as well.
I want to just say, if you are tuning in live and any of this is resonating and you want some more information, just put in the word wealthy into the comments and I will be sure to connect with you. I'm going to link everything, so don't worry about that. You're going to be able to get your hands on it. I will also say, because today is May 28th. We have a few days left. This is a pretty cool month that if you are thinking about stepping into a new business, you want to pivot, you want to layer into an existing business or passion that you already have, it's free affiliate month. So that's waived until the end of the month. And it's 20% off of all the products for new customers and of course, new affiliates. So you still have a few days to get on board. And I love that you brought up reverse. It's so interesting that of all products, you decided to bring up reverse.
I love reverse.
So You guys, reverse is the magic gold. I wish I had it actually with me in front of me right now to show it to you. It's beautiful. And this is as close to an NAD IV injection you're going to get for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And Jenna, you know this, like if you're going to go and get an NAD injection, and obviously the amount that gets administered can change based on what your body can handle. But typically it starts at about $300 to about $500, give or take. And this reverse supplement that is a 30-day supply is $180. So how amazing that you get to take it for a whole month and it's a fraction of one IV injection treatment. And so that also too, for me, I was like, oh, it's amazing. Like I get my NAD and it's a fraction of the cost, and people's skin, like the photos of people doing, their transformation and comparison is just absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, we have hundreds and hundreds of those.
Yeah, I
Before
love it.
years, and they're remarkable. So yeah, they're really a one of a kind product line, and just be curious, you guys, look at it. It is just the best company in my opinion, obviously, that I could possibly find. I couldn't find anything like this. It's very few times in your life that an opportunity like this comes around where you get to be the first in a brand new category, whether it is in a tech category or it's in the wellness category. But yes, it's $1 trillion space. Just e-commerce online and online sales in general is $1 trillion I think I actually heard 52 trillion. I don't know if I'm making that up, but I think that's what I heard.
I think it's a great number. Go with it.
I feel like I heard that, but it could be girl math, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a really smart thing to have as an extra stream of income for sure.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I think is really, I'd love to just take the opportunity to share is, for me with this company, like I shared my backstory, like I saw the products doing amazing things. I wanted to get my hands on it and I just wanted to use it. Same like you. I just wanted to be a customer. I literally had no intentions on being like, yeah, I'm going to link arms. I'm going to do the business and help expand Canada. Like literally no intention. Although God knows his plans are bigger than my plans. And I'm actively praying for the next thing that I can align with and I can partner with, because as most people know, I am still a new mom. My daughter actually turned 17 months today on May 28th. And what is so important to me, as she's knocking on the door, right now, she's saying, Mom, I can hear you, Mom. What is so important to me is that I am not sacrificing and I'm not compromising my time to be and make money outside of my time with her. Mm-hmm. Like for me, and there's no judgment to moms, or like especially single moms that, are taking care of their little ones. Like daycare is not an option for me. So I want her to be here with me. And so I have been praying for what that next thing is going to be. And as I've been praying, if you tuned into my episode at the beginning of the year in January, I put out an episode that was really a call to women who are in business, to women who are leaders, that this year is going to require women in leadership to step up and lead differently. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you can relate, Jenna. The dark is getting that much darker in our world. And as that happens, the polarity and the duality of that is that the light becomes that much more apparent. And we are living in a time where it is not enough to be like the universe or just loosely God. It's like, well, you got to name that. Yeah. And in your leadership and in your business, what does it look like? What's the invitation when you start to actually co-create with God at the core in your fabric of everything you're doing? And that was my intention for 2026, was like, I really wanted, I felt the call to be more vocal on my faith and who Jesus is in my life. And also looking for a business that I could partner with where that is at the core. And I'll just share that Frequence is not a Christian company. Okay. That's not the mandate of the company, but at the core of it, is led by a powerful Christian woman that I came to learn. And so when I had jumped on this Zoom call to learn more about the CEO, because my upline, who brought me in and introduced me to Jena, was like, you need to meet Barb, the CEO. Like, you guys are going to connect so well. Like, you just need to meet her. And it was for me, it was important that I did that because it was crucial, as I just shared, of who I would consider to align with. I didn't want to just go into another company that is like great, and doing good things, because at the core, that's where the magic actually happens. Everything comes out of that. And so when I had the conversation with her, and she's an incredible soul, and she shared so much of her story with me graciously, and learning how Frequence was actually birthed out of so much pain and trauma in her family, that she openly shares about on Instagram and on videos and social. So I'm not sharing anything that she wouldn't actually share. um, that resonated so much with me, and her faith that she had in the Lord to create something that would not just heal her family, but would create this ripple effect that would impact and help heal millions of people.
Mhm.
When I was hearing her, and some of her story I personally can relate to in my own family. And so we had a very aligned conversation on that. And then of course, with like God at the core and the power of prayer, like she was so diligent on praying over the company, the name of the company, the products, like what needed to come together. And so for me personally, that was really important. And so even that, like if you're thinking about stepping into that, know that this just isn't a company that is built to scale and make millions. It's really built at the core to help other people heal their pain, heal their trauma, heal, disease and sickness that's in the body, and to help to support that health journey. Obviously, like not claiming that, you can heal Lyme disease or mold or, autoimmune disorders. But when you have your body attuned, no pun intended, have your body attuned to the right ingredients and to clean ingredients, and you're starting to remove the pesticides and formaldehyde and all the toxins in our food and in our water, and you start layering it in with high frequency in your nutrition and the quality of that, it's inevitable. Your body wants to heal. Like your body is designed to heal. That's how God made you, right? So powerful. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm so grateful for you being here today. Um, Anything else you want to share, Jena, with people that maybe we haven't talked about that you would want them to hear?
I just feel like in my spirit, like just if you all are listening to this or somebody is listening to this and you think, well, that works for them. That works
Mhm.
for them because they're just good at this, right? I want you to know that you would be amazed at the amount of women who told themselves the same thing, who are
Mhm.
having so much success because they just plugged in to what we've created.
Yeah.
And just, I can't imagine what my life would look like if someone didn't share this industry with me.
Mm.
Um, I was pregnant with my second, working an ER nursing job, and just thinking to myself when my oldest was only like 10 months old, or no, he was 12 months old. And I remember thinking to myself, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. I'm leaving my kids for 14 hours to go work a job that's going to just pay for daycare.
Right.
And you feel like you can't get off a hamster wheel sometimes. And so I just hope that this message, this podcast lands on someone who just feels like their back's up against the wall and like something's got to give, and you just are so sick and tired of living, whatever the life is, that you feel like there's got to be another way. That was my story, and I went through a divorce at 30 years old, had to move in my mom's basement while I was in school, and my son was diagnosed with autism, and he was in 30 hours of therapy a week. I got fired from my nursing job because my ex worked at the same place as me. had to
Oh my
start
God.
had to start completely over, you guys, in my mom's basement at 30 with two little toddlers. And he's in therapy, nonverbal, and my life was in shambles. And I just said, something's got to change. And that's when my brain started thinking those thoughts when I first had them. when I was
Mhm.
pregnant. And then
Mhm.
it just started. So you might be somewhere where you're like starting to have these thoughts, like something's got to give. Listen to that, because I started having those thoughts years before I went full in. I was like, this just doesn't make sense. I'm like, this is like this, there's got to be another life. And you really are in control. You are. You might feel like you're not, but you are. You are one decision, one yes away from a completely different life, as cheesy and cliche as that is. It's true. So I'm just so grateful someone shared this with me.
I love that. I have one final question for you
Yeah, sure.
that I love. I asked most of my guests this at the end of our podcast, is if you could go back to your 20-year-old self,
Mm.
what would you tell her?
Oh boy. I would tell her to be patient with herself. And I would say someone actually shared Mary Kay with me, you guys, when I was 22. And I did one party and made $2,000. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And I walked away. So I think what I would say to my 20-year-old self is like, go all in with this industry.
Mhm.
Um, and we'd probably need a whole nother podcast for like the truth of what I went through in my 20s and how I just felt like I needed to do the thing, like get married, have the kids. And I rushed into those things and how it created a, a bad result. But, at the same time, Shae, I wouldn't have my two
Yeah.
beautiful children.
Yeah.
But I think I have a girl I'm mentoring right now, and I think she's 21. And I keep telling her over and over and over again, man, I wish I knew about this when I was your age.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I would say just pay attention to the people who are the women who are in your 30s. If you're a 20-year-old, because I had 30-year-old women telling me, you're really good at sales. I was like, I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be a nurse.
I love that. So
Yeah.
powerful. And it's true, what other people who have lived longer than us and have that experience and looking in on your life and what they see, to take heed to that as well. There's a lot of wisdom in that.
Yeah.
And I would love to have you come back on the podcast, and we can definitely dive into all of that. And maybe we do another one in like 6 months from now when I'm like, what do I want to be? Double diamond? Double? What do I want to be?
You want to be blue diamond. That's what
I
you
want to be blue diamond. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, as you guys can see, I'm like new at this. So like, if I can jump in and do it, you can absolutely do it too. But maybe we do another one in 6 months. I'd love to have you come back. We'll share your 20 something decade, the life lessons from Jena then, and and where you are now. I think it's
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes. My 20s were definitely for learning. We'll put it that way.
Right? I mean, but who is that not for? Like,
I know.
that's like most of us. I mean, there's still so many people like in their 40s that are only starting to like figure out who they are, what they want, right? So like, yeah, be patient with yourself, but
Be
also
patient.
grace too,
Give
right?
yourself grace. Yeah. Some people learn like they can see the consequence of their action before. That's my husband.
Mhm.
He's like, I can see my consequence before I do it. Experience had to be my teacher. So
Got it. Got it. Yeah,
that was me in my 20s.
I love it.
But thank you so much, Shae. This is so much fun. And I really pray that this just blesses the masses, this conversation, and they just feel hope. I want people to feel hope again.
Thank you, Jena. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Shae. Bye.